Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Arbor Adventures. And at this point, Dolos has the bracers of 100 men. He has all the treasure that he's gotten out of where the bracers of 100 men was found, which was on a Ruatheme mountain. And he is headed back to Phandalin with this single magic item that will win the war for the human woodcutters. Mendardus is dead, right? So now... Dolos, Grax, Parak, and Faerowyn need to make their way back from the mountain where they got the bracers of 100 warriors back to the wharf at Ruatheme, where Captain Whiston waits with the Sea Ghost to take them back to the Sword Coast, okay? And so they can start their journey to go to Phandalin. So at this point, they begin this journey back, but they have to go through the forest, right? And when they're in the forest, they come across the Druid. And Druid comes out, and it's a female elf Druid by the name of Oatala, okay? And Oatala says, okay, hey, you guys are just trekking through my forest with a bunch of crates, right? And by the way, Oe is with them, their direwolf, and all the crates are packed up on Oe, and all the treasure and all the gear is packed up on Oe. And so Oatala says, hey, you're on Ruatheme, but you can't trek through these woods carrying all this gear. I don't know, who you think you are, but this is our forest, right? And so, but it's okay. I understand you're lost, and, you tromping all of our flowers and our grass. What you need to do is go down, it's about 2 miles down that way, and you'll find the river. And I want you guys to walk where the water touches the dirt, right, in the mud. That's where you're allowed to proceed. And that will bring you back to the wharf, and then you can go about your business, right? Now, she comes forward, this elf Druid, and she has 3 bears around her, clearly bound to her, right? So, Dolos says, hey, listen, I understand, but you need to understand that we're on our way here, and we only need to go a little bit further, and I'm sorry that we're trekking through your forest, but we only need to get a little bit further, right? And she's like, no, you guys need to take the mud path the way I told you. And she's like, and I cannot stress this to you enough. I know. I think you clearly think you're at leave to speak my name and have a conversation with me. You're not. You're in my forest, and you're trespassing here, and you need to go immediately, or you're going to die. Right? Like she gives him a warning again. And so Dolos says, "Listen, I know it seems like we're in danger, but that's not the case. You're actually in danger." Words aren't even out of his mouth. She attacks immediately. Right? Now, the way this normally would go is she is, essentially a queen of this forest. And so my plan had been to entangle all of them, right? But Dolos is so fast, she feints to, not even faint, she begins to move forward, but he can choose where he goes. And he has boots, at this point, he has boots of speed, right? And he has his assassin training, which gives him... So in Crown and Skull, there are 5 phases in a turn. He now is moving, and when you start the game, you move in 1 phase in the turn. And you could choose to move, or attack, or move and attack, but you give a +5 to anybody who attacks you in the turn. Not just a phase, the entire turn, right? So he moves 3 phases out of 5 now. He's incredibly fast, right? And so he does what he does. And we've seen this in combat after combat after combat, right? So he moves forward, and he strikes her first with Thove, the Hate of Vecna, his cursed blade, right? She's got like 20 hit points, right? He slams her for about 14 hit points, and the blade has bleed, right? So on the next turn, he knows she's going to die, and he actually, and so in like phase 1, he attacks her. And then he uses his next phase to simply move out of the way. He literally just runs 100 feet away. He's not there. And Grax and Parak, nobody takes a single action against Oatala, because she's going to bleed out and die on the next turn. But what they do is Grax and Parax, they use their bows and great swords to cut down the bears, right? So they slaughter her, right? The magic items from her are a feather token from that forest, the Ruatheme forest, and Darkwood armor, which floats and gives very strong defense, right? So two magic items. Dolos has those buried there in the forest, right? In new crates, and then simply continues on to Captain Whiston, who receives them, takes all these crates from the treasure that they got out of. Actually, at this point, the treasure that they got out is carryable. They don't have crates yet. Sorry, but they're heavy packed, right? They're just kind of some rolls and bundles because they got some significant magic items out of there. And I cannot stress this enough: Crown and Skull, what you're carrying is everything you have, right? And everything else, you put it somewhere, but you may lose it, right? You're literally like a pirate. Like, you have to bury treasure. You can't just carry everything around, and there's no guarantee any of it's going to be there when you come back, right? Which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite aspects of it. Is the things you are getting are your hit points, and every single one of them is important, and nothing goes into a handy haversack, right? You don't just acquire loot. You have to use it, you have to get it and spend it. It's really, I love it, right? So that is the death of Oatala, a elf druid who was a guardian of the forest on Ruatheme, who died at the hands of Thove, the Hate of Vecna, by the assassin skills of Sun Elf rogue assassin Dolos. So I'm continuing to kind of craft out, like, to let you guys, to chronicle our tale. Thank you very much for letting me share it with you. Please, every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on the best parts of Arbor adventure. The important part is where I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.